officially now. Welcome to our Tuesday 6-star and above Mastermind. I'm so excited. This is our first hot seat of the quarter, and we have none other than Miss Erin Hopkins, mom of twin girls, which I'm sure she'll share a little bit. She has been a coach for what, 2.5 years, less than 3 years. Not even 3 years. She lives down in Charleston. And one thing that I have asked Erin to come and talk about is her leadership development. Not only has she gotten herself to elite 2 years in a row, but she is now creating an elite culture in her organization. They have a tribe of elite coaches, her personally sponsored, her person sponsored. And so I've asked her to come and just share a little bit about how she is leading her leaders. Erin, with that being said, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to just ask for you to maybe share a little bit about your story and then talk a little bit to us, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Okay. And Chelsea, I love that I hopped in here and heard that last little bit of what you said. Oh, hold on. Okay. It got to me. My face was on the screen only. I like to see everybody's faces. I love that I popped in and heard that last little bit of what you said, because I feel like that has been how I felt the last 2.5 years. Keyshawn was on the East Coast and now she's not, and led mastermind calls. And I was with this crew and I just felt like I wasn't quite doing it the way they were doing it. And I was always a little bit behind. But I've learned that there isn't just one way to do this. So don't ever feel like that. Okay. A little bit about me. I have a fitness background. I have a lifetime of body image and disordered eating patterns. I graduated college, found myself in a miserable corporate job. I hired a personal trainer, lost a ton of weight, found my love for health and fitness, became a personal trainer, a yoga instructor, and all of that. Fast forward 4 years, I got pregnant spontaneously with twins that completely and totally rocked my world. And then had another baby very soon after that. So I had 3 babies under 3 little girls. And it was insane. And I was faking it for the whole world, acting like I was okay. And I was really suffering pretty hardcore with postpartum anxiety and depression. And with that came a lot of old overeating patterns, kind of surviving off of wine and Xanax, and not good. My marriage was falling apart. I was falling apart. These little girls weren't getting the mom that they deserved. So I watched my coach. I was a major Beachbody hater, as many fitness professionals are. I thought that I knew better than Autumn Calabrese, and how could she ever train people better than I could? And, hilarious things like that. And I ended up watching this girl who used to own the Pilates studio at the gym that I worked at. She was just an acquaintance. I didn't really know her. But she had it all. She was helping. She was in the best shape of her life. She was helping all the people. She was living her purpose. She wasn't having to wipe people's sweat, and she was still present with her family. And so I was struggling with my journey at that point. I reached out to her just because I'm listen, I know I'm a fitness girl and I'm supposed to know this stuff, but I need help. And so through her challenge group, I lost 21 pounds in 2 rounds of 21-day fix. And I was I'm in, I'm a believer, let's do this. And I have been pretty much all in, with a lot, a lot of hiccups in the beginning, since then. But I knew that I wanted to coach, and I knew that I needed to help people. I was kind of a jerk in the beginning, where I was I'm not going to post on social media and I'm not going to build a team, but I want to help these silently struggling mamas like me. So for a couple of months, I was just a challenge group girl. And I got asked to speak on the National Wake Up Call in month 4 because I was pulling SC 50, 60, because I was just so freaking excited about helping people. And then I quickly burned out and ran out of my warm market and decided hey, I think I'll build a team instead of having to hit SC 60 every month. Maybe I'll just have an awesome team. And Chelsea, you were just saying, I built my first year on, I don't have high recruiting numbers. And if I do ever, according to corporate, it's discount coaches. I have built my business in my warm market, and I have poured into these people so hardcore until they went diamond and we hit elite, and it was so exhausting and I'm so tired of it. But that is how I have built my first 2 years. And this last 6 months, this last half year, I have completely flipped a switch. I have changed almost everything that I'm doing. And just like Chelsea said, I love that I caught that. Like I was on these masterminds and Kelsey Smith and Rob Pearson are on these mastermind calls and they're talking about how they recruit and they run coach sneak peeks. And I'm like, what's a cold market? You know, like I was just a little behind what they were doing. And we were at the same level technically. But I was running in this warm market, which is amazing. I tell my new coaches coming in, we're going to start with your warm market. We're going to build your cold market while we're doing this warm market thing. But I didn't do that in the beginning. I didn't build my cold market while I was working with my warm market. So what happened to me is my warm market ended. And then I was like, well, shit, what do I do now? And so I have had to completely change everything. And all of my systems have changed in the last 6 months, but I am seeing new success like I have never seen before. And I am so on fire and excited because when you're doing what Chelsea and I do, which is like recruiting a few people and pouring all your love and energy into them, it sets you up for a lot of disappointment. I'm sorry, there's a child. I will make sure I watch my mouth. Sorry. It sets you up for a lot of disappointment because you invest all this time and energy in people. And then guess what? They don't do what they say they're going to do. They don't want this the way that you want this. You're leading from the front and you're showing them all the things and they're not doing what they said. And it hurts your feelings. And so now I have developed systems and through my downline, I work very deep into my downline and my coach works very deep into her downline and we all work as a team. And so instead of just pouring my heart and soul into every single person, just dragging them along. I mean, I can say that I dragged a lot of people along in the last 2 years and Erin Hopkins does not drag people in 2019. And it is like, oh, thank you. You know, I'm working with the working and I'm actually recruiting enough that I can just work with the working. So that's it. That's my story.
I appreciate you for sharing that backstory. I think it's very fascinating for me, at least, to hear that you were doing so much dragging and not only hitting elite yourself, but helping your coaches hit elite. So what would you say?
I didn't drag those coaches. The coaches who hit elite needed no dragging. But I said Jolie is my personally sponsored coach who is elite, and Keyshawn knows her because Jolie and I are usually in masterminds together because although she's my personally sponsored, we're both 6-star diamond coaches. We're at the same level. And we had this moment where like, you know, when we're usually on Keyshawn's mastermind and all these coaches are talking about all the things that they're doing, she's like, we're actually doing that now. I wish we could go back to this masterminds and tell people what we were doing.
So let's open the floor up for some questions here. Let's light her up, y'all. What questions do you have?
Okay, so what changes did you make?
Okay, so I started running Instagram ads. I really hate calling myself a fitness influencer. Like, I hate that. I hate saying things like help wanted. Like, they actually make me want to barf. And so I came to a moment in time where I'm like, all right, Mandy Kai's running help wanted ads. Kate Morgan's running help wanted ads. Bonnie Engel's running help wanted ads. And Erin Hopkins is not. So they're doing something that I'm not willing to do. So I have a decision to make whether I want to get over myself and do the things that the successful people are doing and stop worrying about what other people are going to think. Like, oh, Erin's not fit enough to be a fitness influencer. Why is she calling herself that? Like, that's the kind of like gross inner monologue that was stopping me from these things. And I just decided to do it. Like I spoke at Summit last year about getting over yourself. And this is like phase 2 of it, because it's not just about like it doesn't end. You have to get over yourself every single day. And so I had to get over that. And maybe y'all are like, that's not a big deal. I'll run a help wanted ad. You know, like, okay, so do it. That's working. It took a little while. I was relying on my upline coach every once in a while she would let me run a coach sneak peek with her, and I'd be like, cool, I get to run a coach sneak. My upline coach is Moira, by the way. So she's awesome. And I'd be like, I get to run a coach sneak peek with Moira. And because I wasn't in charge of the sneak peek, I'd get a couple people in there, and then I'd help her run it. And then later on, I could add people that I was talking to about the coach opportunity. By the way, my double elite team came all from challenge groups. I am a master of the challenge group convert to coach. I am not a master of recruiting people who want to work the business. And so that's the shift. So Moira usually asks me if I'll run sneak peeks with her, and I'm like, yes. And then I'll get a couple people, but I know that she's going to fill a sneak peek. And so if I don't, it's cool. Okay. So I was just like staying in that comfort zone under Moira, knowing that if I only got 2 people in the sneak peek, it would be fine, because she will pull enough people to have energy in the group. So then she's like, I don't want to do coach sneak peeks with you anymore. And it hurt my feelings. And you know what I did? I acted like a boss and ran my own sneak peeks, found someone else that I wanted to run a coach sneak peek with. So I run it. She's on my team, but she's not in my organization. So she's another one of Moira's personally sponsored coaches. She's elite. Hannah Roberts is her name. And so I found somebody who is attracting the same people. We are funny. We are moms. We still like to go out and have drinks, but still like fitness. Like we are recruiting. We're recruiting the similar people, and we decided to run coach sneak peeks together. And you know what happened? Because I was running the coach sneak peek, I had to fill it. So all of a sudden I'm like, well, I better invite to the coach sneak peek. I better talk about the coach opportunity. I can't just rely on these challengers to have this amazing experience and fall in love and want to coach a little bit. I was having a lot of that. Like a lot of people doing this for 3 months and quitting when it got hard. And then, I was like, riding the roller coaster of this business over and over again. Like, I want people who want this. So I better start attracting people who want this. So I started talking to more fitnessy people, more training people. I have an Instagram ad that I just run over and over and over again because I don't want help wanted. It's already hard enough for me to run a help wanted ad. I don't want it like spamming my page. So we decided in 2019 that we're going to run a sneak peek every week, because Holly Hillier does and Brianna Headley does. And is this the difference between these successful people and me? Okay, yeah, if I run one coach sneak peek a month and I recruit 4 people from that coach sneak peek, well, if I had done that every week, I would have recruited 16 coaches. So do I want to recruit 4 coaches or 16 coaches? Because guess what? Sneak peeks don't take that much time. So this is just me doing something that isn't necessarily my favorite part of this. I'm a challenger girl. I love the challenge group thing. So this is me not like just getting over myself and doing the thing that I don't want to have massive success for my team.
So what does your sneak peek look like?
It's the Holly Hillier method. So it's on the Beachbody Champions. Day 1, we do our stories. And we do a video that Brooke Lipoff did that she shares because she's like the queen of the world and does everything for this company, which I'm happy to share. So that, and then this day 2 is I talk about how we earn, what that looks like, what it costs, like the money stuff. And we do a giveaway that day. If you have questions, you get entered into a giveaway. And the giveaway is Energize and a shaker. And then on Thursday, Hannah talks about what the next steps are. And then we have a video that we did about objections that we just play. Just overcoming all the objections that we all had. So that is phase 1. And so then how am I duplicating that? I was doing the same thing that Moira did, because I just will do anything that Moira tells me to do. And she's had such massive success letting your new coaches use your coach sneak peek. Right? So then I said, brand new coaches are still allowed to use my coach sneak peek, brand new ones. If you are building a business, I know it took me 2.5 years to run my own coach sneak peek, but you got to do it now. So I have kicked out all my diamonds. I have made them all pair up and run their coach sneak peeks and stop doing what I did for 2.5 years, which is hiding under me. So the same thing's happening, this duplication of well, now I'm running my own coach sneak peek. I better run an ad, or I better invite like a boss and get people in there. And so now they're having these successes with that. And that's what I really want. You know, I've hit a lot of my income goals at this point. Obviously, I created different income goals after I hit them. But my goal this year, my top banner goal is for my coaches to have financial success, or they're not going to stay. And so I've got to find a way to duplicate this new thing that I'm doing, because I can't duplicate the number of challengers I'm able to recruit every month. But I can create this process that my coaches can. So now my coaches run Coach Sneak Peeks. They're not doing it every week. They're like kind of slowly doing all the things I'm asking them to do. But let me tell you the magical thing that's happening next. I'm like not even letting anyone ask questions. Should I stop talking and just let you guys ask me questions? Okay, I'll keep going. So, and again, so I'm paired up with Hannah, who is not Hannah Roberts. She's my best friend and success partner. She and I are not on the same team. Our organizations do nothing for each other. And there is kind of some magic in that too. Like I can help, like I'm working with her coaches and she's working with my coaches, and we are working almost as we're one team. But there's some magic to that, because I can tell her top coach something that's, you know, it's hard for you to say things to your coaches, but you'll happily tell someone else, you know? So I can kind of bad cop, not really, you know what I mean? Like tell her coaches what they need to hear and vice versa. So this whole thing is working out really well for us. And when I tell them that, they know that I benefit nothing from it. So there's some magic in there. So then, okay, we run a Coach Sneak Peek. We then take every single person because we're all 6-star-ish coaches here. So we're kind of, in my opinion, in this sweet spot. Like Moira, who's a superstar, who has really like 30 some dive-ins or something insane, could never do this because there's too many people. But we're kind of in a sweet spot with the size of our teams where, okay, let's say we run a Coach Sneak Peek Tuesday through Thursday. On Sunday, we have a training call. So there is a major sense of urgency to get people signed up on that Thursday, Friday after your sneak peek, because Sunday is your training call. So what was happening, this is what I tweaked. What was happening to me was people were signing up cold market, and then they were literally like quitting and returning their challenge. I've never had a challenge pack return in my whole life. And all of a sudden there's these challenge pack returns because I just like couldn't figure out how to connect with these people. Usually I connect with them in a challenge group. So what we've started doing is on Sunday, we have our first training call. We don't talk about the business. There's nothing businessy happening. I show them my challenge tracker app. I show them the Nutrition Plus app. I tell them your job is your journey. This is phase 1. I'm not going to put you in the team page until you're done with phase 1. I'm not going to put you in the training. We're not going to talk about Success Club or Emerald or anything. All you need to know is that your job is for the next 21 days to focus on you and your journey, period. You got to show up in the challenge group. You've got to be the A+ challenger. Like, you are not going to be successful in this business unless you have belief and this has changed you in some way. And that obviously does not mean a 6-pack. For me, I'm not taking Lexapro or Xanax. Like, my first 21 days was about that. I got off major medications in my first 21 days. I also lost weight, but it's not about, I make very clear that it's not about like that. And then we put them all in a thread. And this is on a Zoom call because I want them to see each other and build community. And then we put them on a thread, and that's just we call it phase 1, and that's their challenger thread. And they are like loving on each other and like celebrating their successes, and they're starting to coach each other in this thread. They are also in separate challenge groups where they're showing up separately. And then we have a call with them every week to just discuss wins. After they're done with their 21-day challenge, they then are allowed to be added to the team page. We talk about Success Club. And then we try to get them to be success starters. We're running a success starter retreat. And we have built this community where it's like, guys, we all have to celebrate May at the Success Starter Retreat. Oh my gosh. Okay, girl just got Success Club. Okay, she's in month 1 of qualification to go on this retreat, and we got to all be together. It's going to be amazing. I just opened the chat box. Do you have them do 21 favorites? Yes, I do. They can do 2B. I'm a 2B mindset girl. That is like totally my brand. I'm actually having my new coaches do containers. I kind of can't believe it, but I just feel like they have to learn that first. And So anyway, it's working. And while they're in phase one, we are saying, let's hold yourself a little bit more accountable and give yourself the opportunity to really launch your business in a major way by inviting, we do ask them to invite 3 friends, or at least one, to get that SC+1 point. So, and we say, like, you know, obviously the magic in what we do as coaches is accountability and support. So if you have your mom, your bestie, your coworker, there's whoever you spend the most time with doing this with you, you're not only going to be held more accountable, but you're going to have another transformation that you're going to be able to talk about when you launch your business in month 2.
That was a great question. I have a question, if no one's going to ask one right now. Instagram ads, it sounds like they've been successful for you. Do you have any tips to make them successful?
I am legitimately just throwing spaghetti against the wall, but I will tell you, so I am like not an expert. I'll tell you what I'm doing and what's working for me. Because at first I was like, okay, UK, Canada, US, mommy, military wife. Like I was like, you know, you get to decide who your people are. And fitness, of course, people who care about health and fitness. And for some reason, it just wasn't, you know, like a bunch of people on my team are all doing the exact same thing I just told you about. Like, that's like what we're doing as a team. And they were getting like 30 job forms and I was getting like 1, and we were all paying the same amount of money. And I'm like, real bitter about it. Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Like, what, like, you know, I was like, the comparison game is real, of course. And I just tweaked it every week, and I didn't give up until I figured out what worked for me, which I did have to keep it with US, and I just tweaked the ages and tweaked the, you know, the interests until it worked for me. And so I don't think that there is like, and this is the magical thing. I've tried promoting Instagram stories. That didn't really work for me, but one of my best friends, Lauren Page, gets like 40 job forms from it. So I think it's like the right picture, the right ad, the right message, and you just kind of have to tweak it and realize that you're going to lose some money, but that this is an investment in your business, and that when you figure it out, it will work. So now I spend about $100 a week. I've done more than that. If it's killing it, I'll extend it for a day, and I only do it for 1 day. So what we've been told and what we're all doing is that you throw as much money into 1 day as you're comfortable. So, you know, if I was making more money, I'd probably put like $600 on a day. But that's not my reality. And maybe it is. If you can say that I threw $600 at an ad to make $3,000, okay, I'll do that. I haven't done that long enough to be able to like come up with numbers like that. Like, okay, then they sign up, they buy a challenge pack. Okay, then what? Are they in Success Club? But I will say that, like, you know, we just started implementing this in January. So, you know, we have these phase 1 and phase 2 coaches, and I've never had this many coaches with SC+1. I've just never had coaches with SC+1 before. That's just never been my category. I'm like, oh, I hope I make the minimum and can go elite. But now, like, I'm seeing this very different picture than me going through my challenge group and being like, well, she's killing her challenge. Let me convince her that she wants to do this. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I do want to spotlight my kick butt challengers. And do you see me trying not to cuss? I do want to like talk to them and breathe belief into them that they could do this and that they could kill it. That will always continue for me. But what I was doing was taking these like broken stay-at-home moms who found this thing that brought them back to life. And then I was trying to convince them that they wanted to do this the way that I wanted to do this. And they some of them do, but they don't want to do this like I do. I'm not looking for hobby diamonds. I could care less. Great, you can hit diamond. I want star diamonds. I want people who are really going to build a business. I want people who are really going to see the financial benefit from their, I mean, we all know, like, nothing really happens until you hit 2-star. You work really hard And nothing really happens until 2-star. And then like, woo, what just happened? You know? And so that's what I'm looking for. And so that was the shift.
So this might be a dumb question, but how are your people overlapping? Since you're doing one a week and you do a team call with them every Sunday, is it that each team gets their own call, or are y'all kind of combining, like some are on day 7, some are on day 14? How are you doing that?
Great question. So we're actually running, so I'm not running a coach sneak peek this week. So it's week 1, week 2, and week 4 of the month. Because right now, if I sign someone up today, it doesn't really set them up that well for success starters, right? Because it's like the end of the month and it's weird. Now, next week, my coach sneak peek, I'll sign everyone up on March 1st. So then they'll have an amazing amount of time for success starters. So, yeah, so the people who signed up the first week of February, we have we call it the Challenger GSR, because we're not talking about any of the things you talk about in the GSR. It's only about the challenge group. So the Challenger GSR is on Sunday. Then they have another call on Monday. So now they're called phase 1. After they do the Challenger GSR, they're officially in the phase 1 February new coach group. So as we recruit another crew, and I say I'm recruiting these high numbers. They're high for me. I'm doing like 3 or 4 a week. You know, they're not like, you know, Ashley Molstead high or anything insane. And so then the second week of people, they get their own Sunday night Challenger GSR. And then after that, they get invited into the challenge group and they get welcomed into this thread. So they're a week behind in their challenge, but they're all in it together in their first round. And they will all have a real GSR, like a coach GSR in March.
So we are just at 30 minutes. Any last minute questions or comments?
I have one. First of all, you make me laugh, so thank you so much. So, you know, there's always that fine line, because I'm pretty good at giving tough love, but then I always find that delicate line of where, like you said, and I highlighted it, I don't drag people in 2019. Because I think all of us at some point in time, that's what we've done. And if you haven't, then you suck. But anyways, like, where did you tell your team that? Did you just say that? Because I also love that you said a hobby diamond. Like, did you just put that in the page and say, this is how it's going to move forward in 2019? Or did you make that a clear expectation, or did you kind of leave it alone because those are coaches already on the team, and then just kind of start this yourself?
It started with my diamond.
Okay.
Because I had a call with them and I cried. I cry a lot. I'm just like one of those people. And you know, I am super tough lovey, but I am not tough lovey to my team. I'm like tough lovey here on team calls, and I'm like, and then I get in my team, I'm like, hey, I hope you stay. I love you. You know, and like, so annoying. Like, I just be yourself. So anyway, I was after leadership. So leadership was in like October, November. And I got home from leadership and I'm just like, I don't like how any of this is going. Like, I shouldn't have had to push that hard for a lead. I shouldn't have, like, this is not where I thought I would be right now. I was going to be a 10-star, a 15-star last year. Like, my first year I ended a 5-star, and my second year I ended a 6-star. That's not okay with me. Yeah. And so I got all pissed off about it. And I got my diamonds on a call, and I was crying, and I was just like, guys, I'm not your accountability partner. I'm not your success partner. I don't go to Moira every time I need to know if there's a change in the price of a challenge pack. Like, figure it out, find a person, meet with them weekly, set goals. I am here for you. I am your #1 fan, but I am not your success partner, and I am not your boss. Be a boss. And I said that. I mean, you know, when you cry, you can say stuff like that, and it's not as mean. But they could see that I was like burned out and not okay. The other thing that shifted in that moment is I offered everyone in pretty much my downline, like, that they could have a one-on-one call with me. And so I was doing all these one-on-ones with people who did not deserve my time. And so now they have success partners, and they can have like a monthly one-on-one call with me. I'm in threads with all of them all the time. But but I don't do one-on-ones unless you're going to present to me a tracker and you are working. I don't just give my time like that anymore. Instead, I'm potting people up, and what that's actually doing is creating a way better community, because nobody really wants the Erin show, like, but people want Team Better Together. And so when I like that's why this new sneak peek thing is working, because instead of just hearing from me, they're getting the community in day one. And I don't know about you guys, but like, that's what I needed. That's what I wanted. And then just to touch on the duplication thing, do you realize that I am now running GSRs for my entire downline? So I'm good at getting people started right. Like, right? Y'all are 6-star diamonds. You're good at getting people started right. And so now I get to get my coaches' people started right. And then hopefully what's going to happen next is that they're going to duplicate this with their team. You know, they're going to be like, I'm going to be an elite coach. I mean, Jolie is one of my personally sponsored. We are doing this together. She's doing this exact same thing with her team, because she's an elite coach and she's a boss. And when you decide to really be a CEO, you will duplicate exactly what I'm doing. I'm talking to my downline, not you guys. My downline will duplicate exactly what I'm doing with their downline. So the idea here is that I'm showing them how to build leadership by joining forces. I mean, they're still showing up on these calls. I'll be like, okay, Michelle, why don't you talk about how to do before and after pictures? And, oh my gosh, isn't it funny how you messed up your before and after picture? Like, we're on these calls joking around, and people are seeing that we're best friends and they want to be a part of that. And so I'm hoping that this new thing, I feel like it's going to work. I feel like I'm going to pop star diamonds all over the place this year because of what I'm doing. And I feel like I'm going to have a ton of success starters. And I know it's not all about elite points, but the elite system is there because it's what drives your business forward. It's not like just made up. Like, they took the most important things in your business, which is getting people started right and getting people to star diamond. And really, I want 2 stars and above. And so I'm going for it, going after it.
I love your energy. Thanks, Christy.
So basically, we just cry. We cry to our current diamonds. We run IG ads and we run weekly sneak peeks.
And you team up with someone that's not connected and have them do the tough love.
I'm blessed to have that in my life right now. So I just need to cry more.
And maybe this is where you do it. Like, how lucky are we that Beachbody does this for us? Because I do have this like amazing, Together Rising is like this amazing force of a team, but we have so many elite coaches because we did this. We all like potted up together. And if you don't have that, this is where you find it, you know? Which is so nice that Keyshawn does this for us. What was not nice of Keyshawn was moving away from the East Coast.
I miss you. I miss you. I'm not going away though. Erin, thank you so much for spending a piece of your afternoon. I'm like, what time zone are you in? Piece of your afternoon with us. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all, I think that this was beneficial. I hope that you took some good notes and took something away. Erin, any last minute thoughts for this group here?
I think it's just the dragging thing. Like, it ain't fun. This is supposed to be fun. We all did this because we love it. Nobody's doing this because, like, you know, you're not going to make money doing this unless you do love it. And so I think I've just had to like pull myself out of moments where this hasn't been fun for me and remember, like, it's like all about finding the joy again, you know? And, you know, if you push for elite and you push for this goal and, you know, there are moments where you are going to have to like beg people to hold their rank for 6 weeks. But let that like only be in those moments. Like, I dropped to 3-star the other day and that would normally take me down. That would normally just, and I'm like, whatever, they don't want to hold it. I'm not in qualification. I don't care. Like, this is their deal. I will not drag people. I will hashtag find new coaches. Like, so hashtag find new coaches. So that's what we're doing in 2019. So
I love that. Love it. Well, thank you, Erin, for being here. I have one challenge that's unrelated to our conversation. Obviously, we just launched Fruit Punch Energize. I encourage you to do something fun with your team to have them add on. So not switch the flavor, but add on. And maybe it's, I don't know, bingo, where they're, anyway, think of some fun ways that you can do that, but where they're adding on and not just changing the flavor for something fun. I'll explain more of what I mean by that when I get this bingo card that is legit from Danielle Natoni. But my challenge for you guys is to encourage your coaches to add on, not to change their flavor. Erin, mwah, love you. Thank you so much. And y'all, I will see you next week. Bye.